So let's solve for time straight away. If you not having time to do the right thing is one of your objections, then this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to get really clear on what is a high payoff and what is a low payoff activity. This will be at the bottom of page 4 of your workbook. Now, if I look at the available time that we all have the same amount of time, 168 hours in the week, right? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 168. We tend to work the same amount of time. We work about 40 to 60 hours per week. 40 hours a week is 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. 60 hours might be 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, or some combination thereof. If we all have the absolute same number of hours and the relative same number to work, why is it that we have people building billion-dollar companies, but you have people in your team that say things like, I didn't have time to update the CRM. I didn't have time to follow up with that prospect. I didn't have time yet to put out that proposal. Well, the reason is what we choose to focus on really, really matters. So I want to introduce you to this concept of high payoff versus low payoff activities. Let me give you the definition. A high payoff activity is something that could or should only be done by you. High payoff could or should only be done by you. That means given your responsibility, given your remit, your accountability within the sales team, only you could or should be doing it. A low payoff activity is something that maybe needs to be done, just not by you. And what I'm looking for is hopefully a short list of HPAs, and that will leave me with a pretty long list of LPAs. How do I know? Well, all of you said that you don't have more time than you know what to do with. So you're busy. And I'm going to show you how to make the distinction. But before we do that, once you've figured out what your low payoff activities are, I want you to look at some of these things that are keeping you busy in sales. And I want you to consider doing one of 4 things. Number 1, I want you to consider insourcing it. Insourcing means find somebody else inside your company that can do it that's not you. If you're an engineering company, maybe you're getting involved in the commissioning on site. Maybe you're getting involved in like the delivery of the product. What if you didn't? What if we pulled back from that? We did a handover to the engineers earlier because they can be trained, they can do it even if they don't want to. But what they can't do is help you on the sales floor. So what if I could give back some of the things that can be trained to other people, and I won back some of that time, and I spent more time doing the sales activities that only I can do? That's insourcing. The second thing is, I want you to consider outsourcing. Some of you might already be doing outsourcing in your business. Maybe your sales team has some sales support that you outsource to another country, another team. Outsourcing tended to become very popular during COVID, but for some reason, we don't use it enough. And I think we don't use it enough because we don't do the math. I don't know what you guys earn as salespeople, but let's say you're earning somewhere between 100 and 300K as a salesperson at full whack. Well, if you're earning somewhere in there, then your hourly rate is probably, let's say for the sake of easy math, 100 to something like $250 per hour. Now, what I'm wondering is this. Are there things that you do as a salesperson every week that you could pay somebody less than $200 an hour to do? Yes? Are there things that you do every week as a salesperson that you could pay somebody less than $75 an hour to do? What about 50? Ladies and gentlemen, when I run this exercise, what I find is, as a salesperson, I can often find somebody in country that will do what I do, certain activities, for 1/5 of what I get paid. If I go offshore, it could be as little as 1/10. But we don't do it. Here's something that I'd like you to write down. If you don't have an assistant, you are one. If you don't have an assistant, you are one. I can give you examples for days of clients of mine who came to us and said, I'd like to hire more salespeople. And we looked at their sales culture and said, that's going to be tough because your sales culture is not really going to allow for new people to come in. What if I could get more out of the existing salespeople? And we would go to Panama, Philippines, wherever, find them sales support for $1,100 a month, whatever it is, hand over things like calendar management, emails, proposal writing, prospect research, like as much as you can, and then reinvest that time into doing the sales activities that only you could or should be doing. And without exception, 20 to 100% increase in the output of that salesperson. Now, if your story is, yes, Morné, but my company is never going to pay for that. My company is never going to pay $1,000 a month, $500 a month, $1,500 a month for me to have an assistant. I'm just a salesperson. Well, then I say, you do it. How much do you back yourself? How much do you believe in your ability? How much do you value your time? Do you believe that doing preparation, as an example, before every email, every phone call, every meeting is going to help you sell more? Well, then you pay somebody $15 an hour. I'll tell you where to go find them. And you have them do the research that you want. So you get a one-page executive summary before every meeting. So now you're not spending an hour or 45 minutes doing the research. You're spending 5 minutes reading the research. And when you sell $5, $10, $20, $50,000 a month more for $1,000 a month investment, you can send me a handwritten thank you card. Because ladies and gentlemen, whatever you're going to spend on that resource, if you use it correctly, will be a rounding error compared to the upside. How much do you believe in yourself? And you know what's going to happen? Because I've seen this happen dozens of times. You put your hand in your pocket and you do it. Very quickly, your manager, your boss is going to say, whoa, 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 what's going on here? Heather, how the heck are you selling 25, 50, 100,000 more a month? How did that happen? Oh, well, I've been paying for a sales support person out of my own pocket. Oh my goodness, I insist that we reimburse you everything that you've spent. And how can we help you pay more for getting a sales assistant to stay with you for the future? How much do you believe in yourself? The third thing that you can do is you can start automating some of the tasks that you do. There are so many AI tools, machine learning tools, automation tools now. So many tasks that I see salespeople doing manually that you can do in a fraction of the time if you knew how to use these tools correctly. The fourth and final thing that I want you to consider doing is just stop doing it. Ask yourself this question. If I stop doing this thing, would anybody notice or care? Would anybody notice or care? In my business, we stopped writing proposals 4 years ago because when I put it into PandaDoc or DocuSign and I looked at the client engagement, the vast majority of pages in the proposal, 0 seconds on page. 14-page proposal. They would look at page 1, page 11, page 12, and page 13. That's it. Page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 14, 0 seconds on page. So I just said to my team, that's it. We're not writing proposals anymore. We're only going to give them the pages that they look at, and we're going to cut the time that it takes to write a proposal from 1 hour to 15 minutes. And you know what happened to my conversion rate when I did that? Nothing. It stayed exactly the same. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to figure out what it is that you do, here's my suggestion of how you do it. You ask your IT company, Aiden, you've got many of them, I'm sure. You ask one of those clever technical people to write a little automation. And if you guys use Microsoft Teams or Slack or anything like that, you have a little message pop up every hour for 1 month. And that message should be in the last 5 minutes of every hour. And it'll pop up into your Slack channel or your Microsoft Teams channel and say, hey, everybody, if you're not in a meeting, take 5 minutes to close this hour and just make a note of 3 things that you've done in the last hour. And if that request pops up every hour for a month, you'll end up with a nice long list of all the things that you do. It's the only way that I found that actually works. Then you take everything and you put it in the right-hand column. You leave this column, the HPA column, leave it blank. And then you buddy up 2 at a time. And the idea is that you have to tell your buddy why something needs to move from here to here, and they've got to fight you on it. When I ran this exercise for the first time in January of 2023, the first thing on my list was my email inbox. And I believed, as the owner of the company, there's no way that anybody can take over my emails because of the sensitivity of what I get sent. And thank God, the guy that I was partnered up with in my company had the spine to say to me, boss, I challenge. Turns out that they had done the research and they found that it took me 3 days to respond to an internal email because I was traveling and prioritizing other things. And by the time I'd hired an assistant and taught her how to do it, it ended up saving me 2 hours per day. I used to work from 7 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. I used to work at least 1 half day every weekend. My company over the last 2 and a bit years since I did it has doubled in size. I never answer more than 10 emails a day. And I don't even open my email inbox unless Kenisha tells me. Kenisha will send me a message on Microsoft Teams to say, hey, Morné, I've been monitoring your email all day, and I found these emails that you need to answer. They're all flagged. You need to answer them by this date. Never, ever answer more than 10 emails a day because I took the time to train somebody to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to maybe write this down, but I want you to remember one thing. In all the years that I've been doing this, people will give me reasons why they don't have the resources to be successful. Well, Morné, it's easy for you. You've got an assistant. Morné, it's easy for you. You own the company. You have control of the budget. Morné, it's easy for you. You have the cash. I can't do it because I don't have the resources. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have. Here's what I have found to be true. We more often than not fail not for a lack of resources. We fail for a lack of resourcefulness. We don't fail for lack of resources. We fail for lack of resourcefulness. We just don't figure it out because we have these limiting beliefs that we absolutely can't. And if you believe that you can't, you're right. You're absolutely right. And if you believe you can, you're absolutely right. Because, ladies and gentlemen, in the first instance, it turns out that success in sales starts with the 6 inches between your ears. Systems and processes, leverage your time. After the break, we're going to get tactical and we're going to go deep. I've got 58 minutes past the hour. Let's come back 50